That's our backdrop. I like that. Okay. So you're going to speak first, or are you just going to speak? You're going to come up and say something. Perfect. Okay. All good to go? Where's mine? You good to go? Okay. All right. Well, it is cold outside, but our hearts are warm. Isn't that right, Commissioner? All right. So, everybody, look. Talked about in the state of the city, and I'm going to talk about everywhere I go. We need a recovery for all of us. We need a recovery that brings back the life and the heart and the energy of this city, and that everyone gets to be a part of. And we're going to do that. We're going to really bring back the heart and soul of New York City. We need our arts and culture back, and we need people to see it and feel it, to participate in it, to know that that essence of New York City has not been defeated by the coronavirus, but will come back strong in 2021. That's what we're here to talk about today. How we bring back arts and culture, how the creativity of New York City comes to life again. This morning we talked about Curtains Up NYC, an effort to make sure arts and cultural institutions get the federal support they deserve as they revive. Now we talk about the Open Culture program. Open culture, bringing culture to the people in the streets of the city. Month after month in 2021, as you see the city come back to life, culture will lead the way. And we know that even in the worst, toughest moments this last year, our cultural community helped to sustain our hope. They found new ways to express life in the city, help us to reflect, help us to find a path forward. That's what we depend on. Our cultural community is our conscience, our cultural community is our hope, and our identity as New Yorkers. And now we will be bringing our cultural community back to the greatest stage in the world, the streets of New York City. Here to tell you all about it, our commissioner for the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs and someone who believes in culture for the people, Commissioner Gonzalo Casals.
Muchas gracias, Mr. Mayor. How's everybody doing? Yes, warm hearts. That's what we want to hear, as the mayor said. New York City is not New York without arts and culture. Arts programming brings people together, it strengthens our community, and puts people to work, which is very important. Although culture never really closed, culture organizations continue to engage New Yorkers online through senior centers, public schools, and helping every family in New York City to make sense of the changes brought by the pandemic. But at the same time, they expanded their role and their mission in our communities. They became sites for food pantries, vaccination centers, and early voting locations. But many venues continue to remain closed, and we want to help them thrive, and we want to help them, support our artists. So today, we are here to announce Open Culture. Open Culture is another step towards a recovery for our city. We're launching with 115 street locations in all 5 boroughs, and it brings stages to our neighborhoods and culture to the heart of our neighbors, and give artists, cultural institutions, and creatives a place to showcase their talents as they recover from the pandemic. This is a free permit, and the city has dedicated a team to help organizations with the application process and connect them to resources. I want to thank you, Executive Director Lynn Canfield from the Mayor's Office of Citywide Event Coordination and Management, and her team for the steadfast work to implement this program. I also want to thank Commissioner Del Castillo from the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment for her ongoing partnership with us. For any other questions or details that you want to learn about this amazing program, you can go to newyorkcity.gov, Open Culture. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. And everyone, the idea is to make this simple, to make it accessible, to bring cultural institutions of all kinds, of all communities, out into the streets, to engage people, to give them energy, give them hope. And as the Commissioner says, for that to work, we have to clear the way, we have to cut the red tape and make it simple. And I want to thank all my colleagues in government who are doing that. Of course, Commissioner Casals and Commissioner Del Castillo, who joined me this morning, and the Executive Director for our citywide events office, Ellen Canfield. Thank you, Ellen. And our nightlife czar, czarina, Ariel Pallets, who hates red tape, helps cut through it all the time. Thank you for all you do. Everyone, we're going to make this work. We saw with open restaurants, we cut the red tape, we made it simple. If you build it, they will come. 10,000 restaurants took advantage and took street space and sidewalk space and made it something beautiful. This is going to be the cultural equivalent. Bring culture out into the streets of the city for all to enjoy for free. And with that, someone who fought for the idea of bringing back culture strong, and he is the chair, the energetic chair of the Cultural Affairs Committee in the City Council, Councilmember Jimmy Van Bramer.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that introduction, and I also want to thank you again publicly for choosing an amazing commissioner of the Department of Cultural Affairs in Gonzalo Casals. Nowhere else would you get a commissioner wearing sneakers like the ones that he is wearing now, and no one else could get away with that other than the Commissioner of Cultural Affairs and a fierce queer man from Queens. I want to thank everyone who has a hand in this. I was really inspired to draft this legislation based on the success of open restaurants and open streets, two incredibly important initiatives that actually changed the way we view our city and how people experience their city and how we view our streets. And as Commissioner Casal said, our cultural community has been devastated with the inability to perform. Artists have lost work because of their inability to get paid for their work. And we know that there is no just recovery for all that doesn't include artists and the cultural community of New York City. So this plan and open culture is going to streamline the application process, allow arts groups, both for-profit and nonprofit, to get easily obtainable permits to perform live on the streets of all 5 boroughs of New York City, democratizing the arts in a way that we've never experienced before in our city. And they're going to be able to ticket, online ticketing, and charge for performances, which is going to allow a source of revenue to be had by cultural organizations and allow our artists to be paid. So this is a job creator. This is a motivator, because when people walk down the streets in Queens or Brooklyn or the Bronx, Staten Island, and Manhattan this spring and this summer, and they hear music, or they see dancers, or they hear an opera, they wouldn't have even necessarily known it was happening, but I know that their spirits are going to be uplifted by the fact that they hear it, they see it, and they're going to go join with their neighbors safely and watch the performance and be uplifted by the power of and the joy of music and dance and art and comedy. I know we're going to have some dancers dancing in a few minutes, and every single time we experience the arts, we're all uplifted. New York City needs this program right about now, when all of us have experienced so much isolation and so much fear and so much sadness, and now we have the joy of culture breaking out all over the streets of the city of New York. It is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful program. Thank you to everyone who helped us make it happen, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for supporting this program, inviting us, and I look forward to dancing with you on the streets of the city of New York one day.
But of course. I like it. I thank you, council member. And I loved your word choice a moment ago, culture breaking out all over the streets. What a perfect segue. An amazing dance company in Harlem that believes in bringing culture to the people and believes in representing the culture of this whole city and including all the people of the city. The Elisa Monte Dance Company of Harlem, and here to tell you about this extraordinary organization and the performance they're going to provide to us today. My pleasure to introduce the leader of this great organization, Daniela Funicello.
Thank you. I just wanted to say how exciting and amazing this initiative is, bringing arts and culture back to the streets of New York City is amazing, and we're so excited to be here to sort of get that in motion. My name is Daniela Funicello, and I'm a company dancer with Elisa Monte Dance under the direction of Tiffany Ray Fisher. Today we're showing you an excerpt from a bigger work titled Emerged Nation. That was also choreographed by Tiffany Ray Fisher. It's an ode and a love letter to New York City. So we hope you enjoy. Thank you so much.
Well, just to conclude, that is just beautiful. And isn't it amazing? Give them another round of applause. We thank them. Just a small sampling of what it's going to be like to have culture out in the streets of this city, giving us hope, giving us energy, bringing back the life in New York City. And this is going to be a recovery for all of us. You'll watch and see in the weeks and months to come something beautiful happen in New York City. Thank you, everybody.